Greetings. We have another STEM Fun episode today, and we also have a very special guest. This is Dr. Barb. I'm with Colorado State University Extension, and I would like to introduce the Tri-River Master Gardener Coordinator, Christine. Take it away, Christine.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching our video today, and hopefully you're going to have some fun doing this activity that we're going to explain for you, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit about what we're doing in this activity as well. And I am the Master Gardener Coordinator, and Master Gardeners are people that learn all about gardening, all about plants, and they are there to help you and your parents and your neighbors with all of their garden and plant questions. So hopefully you can find a Master Gardener in your area and talk to them about this activity that you did today. And my Master Gardener with me today is Julie, and she's going to be teaching you all about seed starting.
Hi there. I'm so excited to be here today. I get to share with you one of my favorite things to do as a gardener, and that is to sow seeds. I sow seeds probably about half of what I grow for my vegetables. I sow indoors, and about half I sow outdoors. Today we're specifically going to talk about sowing seeds indoors, and that has some special requirements, and it provides a lot of opportunity that sowing seeds outdoors doesn't provide. First, we should talk about seeds. Now, how many of you have seen a pumpkin seed? When you carve your pumpkins around Halloween time, or you've grown them yourself, or you perhaps you roast them and eat them. You're aware that the seeds are very large. Well, we also have small seeds like mustard seeds, or in the case of the seed that we're going to work with today, basil. They're very, very small. But what all seeds have in common is they contain all of the energy that the plant needs to grow, to start out and grow in soil. And it's all encapsulated, waiting for the right conditions to be provided to it. One of the things we'll talk about is germination today, and germination is the process of providing the right environment for the seed, for the insides of the seeds to grow out into the soil and put up leaves. And then the leaves are what the plant needs to use to get sun and energy in a process called photosynthesis. We'll provide a definition of photosynthesis on the screen in a bit. One of the opportunities we have for growing seeds indoors is that we can control the environmental conditions that the seeds need. And I find in western Colorado, where I'm at, it's very difficult to control the outside conditions, especially this time of year. We're filming right now. It's the end of April. We have mornings that are freezing. Last week I had a 20-degree morning outside. And then in the afternoon, it can be, right now it says it's 68 outside. So that's a huge swing in temperatures. And the seeds generally need a smaller, more controlled way of growing. And it's easier to control that by going to indoor sowing of seeds. So I wanted to talk to you about what types of materials you can use to sow seeds indoors, because some people think that you have to have real special equipment. And I wanted to show you some of my favorite things to use from the recycle bin that, or common supplies that people have in their houses. Let me get the container here. So, a creative container that I have that I bought tomatoes in. We commonly call the clamshell because it opens and shuts like a clamshell. But you can use it. You can put soil in the bottom, plant your seeds, and then use the top for keeping the moisture into the seed. That's an idea. Here is a mushroom container, same thing. Just have to make sure that it has, if you're using it as a seed container, you have to poke holes in the bottom so that it has drainage, and then put it on something that, so it won't ruin the furniture or the windowsill that you're putting it on. Put it on a tray or something to keep the moisture off the windowsill. Another thing that we all have, unless you had problems finding it lately, are toilet paper rolls. In this case, I took a toilet paper roll, I flattened it, I took my scissors and I cut it in half. And I can use that, I can put it on a plate and put soil in there and plant the seeds and keep it wet that way. Another idea is any kind of cup. You can use a styrofoam cup, you can use a red Solo cup, you can use a small cup that you have in your bathroom, maybe to rinse your teeth after you brushed your teeth. Just make sure, again, you find a parent-approved safe device to poke holes in the bottom. I have like a screwdriver almost, but it just has a pokey end, and I use it to poke holes. My favorite container, what we'll use today, is a sour cream container or a cottage cheese container or a yogurt container. You can use the little yogurt containers. You have the bottom. You take this sharp device. Ugh, this one's tougher. And you start poking holes in it like that. I poke all the way around so that there's good drainage. And then, voila, I have a container. I also have milk cartons. This is an almond milk carton. This is a half and half carton. I've cut the top off. I've turned it over, taken my sharp device, poked holes in it, and I can fill it with soil and use it as a container as well. Also, some people often use egg cartons. You can either use them whole like this or cut them apart. I've often used them like that, but also use the toilet paper roll so that there's a chance for the seedling to have some support and there's more room for some soil. And then you can plant these actually straight in the ground, and the paper will decompose in the ground if you take your seedling out. So those are some ideas. Next, I'd like to talk about what is required. Another thing that's required for the seedlings to germinate, and that would be soil. You can make your soil. You can use garden soil with perlite and peat moss, or I think much easier and much easier to control is to just go buy a product from the store. So this is from a local big box store, and this particular one is seed starting mix. Why I like to use that for particularly small seeds like basil seeds that we're going to work with today is that it's very fine, and so it has a chance for the seed to have good soil contact, and then again for the moisture to stay on the seed. So that's what I like to use. You have to wet it down. So I'm going to show you my container. I have this old container bin that had toys in it at one point in time, been repurposed. It's one of my favorite plantings. So I take the soil, I put it in however deep I think I want it. This has been moistened. Obviously, it's got just a nice texture to it. It's not too wet. If I squeeze it, there's a little water that drops out, but it's not too wet and it's not too dry. So you put soil in there. We'll put that away. Then you pull out your seed packet. Oh, where did this seed packet go? Okay, so here's the basil seed packet. If you turn it over, all seed packets have descriptions on what's required. Many of them talk about inside sowing and outside sowing. So today we're doing inside sowing. So I'm going to read the paragraph that says when to start inside. And it says in big capital letters, recommended. So in the case of basil, it's recommended to start inside. So that's great. That's what we're doing. It says to choose 4 to 6 weeks before transplanting outside. And then to wait to transplant your plant outside when outside temperatures are 50 degrees and above. That'll be quite a while for us still in western Colorado. The other section this particular packet has, it talks about the needs for the seedlings. So this one says days to emerge. So that means how many days does it take the seed to germinate in the soil and come out top of the soil so you can see it. That says 5 to 10 days. So it talks about the depth that you need to plant the seeds. How deep do you need to plant the seeds? Well, these seeds are very, very small. So they talk about planting them a 1/4 inch deep. And then this said seed spacing is 2 seeds every 12 inches. Well, that's more of an outside row condition. So when you transplant outside, that would be something you would follow. Row spacing is 12 inches. And binning. Well, one of the advantages of sowing inside is that you can I feel like I can better control how many seeds I used, and then I don't have to bin the plants so they have room to grow. So what I'm going to do now is pour a few seeds into my hand. I'm going to, I'll put the camera down again. I'm going to take my container that you put the soil in. It's nice. Make sure it's a nice flat surface. Take out any bumpy things. And I'm going to choose this one to plant 4 seeds. So I've taken 1. They're so small. I don't know if you can see how small they are. 2, kind of in a square. 3, and 4. Okay. Well, I don't like to waste any seeds because it's really fun to grow lots of basil for lots of different cooking. Now, because this is a 1/4 inch 1/4 inch depth that you should plant this, I'm going to show you one way of making a 1/4 inch work. My favorite way for larger seeds particularly, and my favorite planting tool is actually a pencil. So I take a pencil, take a ruler or a tape measure, and I measure 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1 inch on the pencil. And then if I were planting a larger seed, like a pumpkin seed that usually I think they're about 1 inch deep, I would have a mark on my pencil for 1 inch. I'd put the seed on the soil surface, and I'd use my pencil and push it down until I got to the 1 inch mark, and then I would cover the soil over the top of that. In this case, because basil the seeds are so small and a 1/4 inch is difficult to control, and you can't see the black seed on the black soil, it's just really difficult. I like to take this dry potting soil because it's easier to work with. I get my hand in there and I take and just gently spread just a little bit over the surface. What's nice about this is you can see where you've spread the soil because the wet soil is darker and the dry soil that I used to plant on the top is lighter. And so you can see where you've got good coverage or not. So I like this method. Then what do you suppose we need next? Anybody? We need water. So what would happen if you put this really fine soil under a faucet? Well, it would wash the soil off and it would push the seed to an area we wouldn't want. So what's important is to wet the soil down so the seedling gets wet, but not wash the seed away. My favorite way of doing that is I've got a spray bottle that's never had any chemicals in it. It's only ever had water. It's what I use for seeding. And I just take and I spray gently to wet the soil all down. And that's how I water my seedlings. I have used this before, and most of you probably have access to a water bottle. I took my same sharp pokey thing and I poked holes in the top of the lid. I don't know if you can see the holes like that. And then all you have to do is turn it over, and it gently, and you can squeeze it if you need to, but it gently provides nice water coverage. And it's a nice watering tool because you usually don't get in trouble for reusing something as simple as a water bottle. You don't get into your parents' chemical spray bottles, and it's just a good reuse. So that's that. Then you need to cover the seedlings, and then we'll put them in a warm, light place, hopefully a warm windowsill that has a lot of light. You really want something that gets about 16 hours of light, 12 to 16 hours of light a day. So I don't know if you have a place in your home that you can find that has that. You can also put stuff under fluorescent lights, which is often what I do. You also want it to be a warm place because basil likes its roots warm, and it will germinate faster in a warm environment. So I just take my handy plastic wrap, cut a piece off, and stretch it over the top, just like that. Put it in a warm place. You could use a rubber band if you like, but you don't have to. And it says, what did we say? 5 to 10 days to emerge. What will come out first will look like it's 2 leaves. And it's actually what they say, they're not true leaves, it's called a cotyledon. And it's the part that emerges first from the seed and comes up to look for the light. The cotyledon then will eventually shrivel up and die as it gives way to true leaves. So I'm going to show you some basil that I planted 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks yesterday. So here are basil plants. You can see here it still has this little cotyledon. It's a different shape than the other leaves, so that's one thing. Eventually you'll see that the cotyledon has a different shape. And then it sends out its first, they say first set of true leaves. So this one is actually on its second set of true leaves. So it's got 2 that went that way and now 2 that go this way. And I'm excited because I will keep these growing until the outside temperatures are 50, and then I'll plant them out in my vegetable garden for the rest of the season. Now, what you need to do while plants are germinating is it's important that the seed stays moist, not soaking wet. So you want to every day, or maybe twice a day, depending on how much sun it's getting, open this up, take your spray bottle or your water bottle, and gently just keep the surface of the soil wet. Put your plastic wrap over, put it back on the windowsill, and wait patiently for it to emerge. What's exciting about all of this is that you've used materials that are easy to find in your own home, reduce, reuse, recycle, and you get to eat what you plant. And I think that's very cool. I think it's amazing that a seed has everything it needs to be food that our body needs to grow. So enjoy. And I wanted to show you, sorry. I wanted to show you what I use for milk cartons because it's really exciting. It's a way to grow something indoors and not have to plant it outside at all. You can put the container outside, but you don't have to move it from it at all. So what you do is, like I said, you cut the top off, poke the holes in, fill it with soil. Then I have carrot seeds. They're very small too, and I plant 9 of them in a grid. 9 carrot seeds. Then I take my plastic wrap, I take my rubber band and put it over there, get it wet, put it over there, and then put it in a warm place. Carrots take a very long time to emerge. They're like a 10 to 15 day at least. They take forever, but they're about, I think, 60 or 70 days. So that's like April to May to June, somewhere maybe around July 1st. You might be able to eat a carrot from a milk carton. And that's a really fun activity to do indoors where you don't even have to have a place to put it outside. Enjoy, and I hope that you found this particular segment useful. Have a nice day.